What's up, everybody? I hope y'all enjoyed this beautiful Monday that we rolling into. Thank God. If you're still here in May, congratulations. I'm telling you, it's a battle out here, for real, with this virus. I would just want to put something heavy on my mind. I was thinking about the Native Americans. I was thinking about them because my heart grew heavy for them. I know most Native Americans are doing pretty well, doing pretty good, and then some are still struggling. I will send a description of this one Native American news people. They talk about everything that's going on in the Native American community. They haven't posted anything lately, but they have put stuff for other people and their Native American neighbors know what's going on, because the main media doesn't talk about Native Americans. They only talk about negativity stuff, this coronavirus, and just blacks. Anything negative about black people, they gotta talk about it. So they don't really talk about the Native American people. The last time I look on this channel that speaks about Native Americans was good and bad. A lot of Native Americans and a lot of nations are coming together as one to solve a lot of problems in their community. Others are graduating from college and doing programs in trade schools and stuff like that. Also, because I don't know if some people remembered, they were also fighting those pipeline people. They were trying to put their pipes in through their land. I know they stopped one, but I'm not so sure. I have to look it up and see if there's anything else going on with that, because once again, the main media stopped talking about it. The reason why it was such a big media light is because everybody was covering it. If it wasn't for the young generation of Native Americans posted on websites and YouTube and stuff like that, a lot of people wouldn't know about this pipeline thing. And not only that, some of the journalists in that community too wrote it on websites to let people know, hey, these oil companies are trying to cut through our land, and it's gonna kill the environment, it's gonna kill our people. And then they start saying other stuff that the government is doing to them. To this day, the prejudiced white men are still killing Native Americans. And sadly, it's not going to stop. The prejudiced white men, their main mission is to kill all brown people. Why is that? I don't know. It's a demonic kind of thinking. At this point, the way I be reading about other people, when I say other people, I mean the prejudiced white people, and understanding them, at this point, they just have a demonic mindset. At the beginning, it was all about superiority and control and trying to change the narrative that they were the superior race and they invented everything and they built everything on their own, and we all know that's not true, because each nation had invented something. Each nation was fine on their own until the prejudiced white men came around their country, destroy it, take their resources, and manipulate the people of what their culture been doing for decades and thousands of years to flip it to their narrative to get advantage of the people. So it's quite sad and disturbing how prejudiced white people have been doing this for decades. Native Americans have always been fighting over this land, and they still are fighting this land. A lot of people always say, well, how come the Native Americans never been the president or a government official? This last year, there's been a couple of Native Americans who are now government officials in their states. Now, the reason why I think, because back in those times, Native Americans, I'm talking about the pilgrims when they came. When they started doing laws, Native Americans tried their best to cooperate with their laws. However, the prejudiced white man, as we all know, they love to cheat, they love to steal, and they love to destroy. So what happened was that every time a Native American tried to challenge them or do their law, the white prejudiced man keeps changing the law all the time. I remember I was watching some type of movie. It was about how the Native Americans tried their best to work with the white men, and it never did it. We all know the trails of tears. We know how they beat and kill and rape most of the indigenous people. There were like 160 million Native Americans in this land, and they almost wiped all of them out by diseases, killing them, multiple wars on the Native American. I was also told by a friend that is also Native American. She's half a different, but she's fully Native American. And she was telling me some Native Americans did betray or betrayal other tribes to get closer to the white men. They got taste of that money or that power, and they betrayed some of their people too. She was saying something about the blankets, because smallpox really kill a lot of Native Americans. She was saying that when the Pilgrims gave them the blankets, because that's where it came from, it killed most of the population of the Native American. So during modern time, Native American people are still fighting. They are still raising the horn. It's just that the main media won't talk about it. The main media won't address it, because the main media don't give two shits about Native Americans. My heart was just heavy, and I just want to, if any Native American is watching this, I'm praying for your people. I'm praying for good things to happen. I am praying that y'all stay strong and vigilant. I'm praying that you continue to sound your drum as loud as you can, because I want to thank you to let us live off your land. You see, the prejudiced white people, they got it twisted. You know what I'm saying? They think this is their land, and this is not their land. This is the Native American people's land. This is their land. They've been living here since the dawn of time. It's just, unfortunately, the Native Americans had no idea that the prejudiced white man would do all the horrific and horrible things that was about to come. And still to this day, there are still doing horrific and horrible things to the Native American people. I'm gonna send that link below about the Native American news people. I learned so much of this YouTube website. I'm gonna leave it on the description. I learned so much about the community, about the politics, and I learned so much about what's going through with their people. I listen to that thing every single day, but like I say, lately they haven't really posted up anything. I also read about Native Americans. They have like websites, different websites for Native American. You can read about what's going on in the community. I think people have to read what's going on than looking at television, because sadly to say, they're not going to show it. They're not going to show it. They're not going to address it. I mean, I even told, this was last year, I even told a friend that Native American women are disappearing constantly. Human trafficking is very, very high, and a lot of Native people believe it's the prejudiced white man might be behind all of this, or the Mexicans too, because Mexico also has human trafficking. Everywhere you go is human trafficking. So the borderline of Mexico to white prejudiced white men, Native American women are disappearing off the earth. And sadly, the police and FBI, they don't give two shits about these poor people or the women. You know, most people like myself believe that the white prejudiced white men are really trying to wipe out. And the best way you can wipe out a whole entire race is to get rid of women. It's funny because the prejudiced white man motive to kill all the black men And then their motives is to kill all the Native American women, because you get rid of the women, you won't have no production. You get rid of black men, you won't get no women pregnant. It's a sick thing. That's why I say the prejudiced white men are demonic. They're very demonic people. Now, you wonder why I keep saying prejudiced white men and not saying white people, because not all white people are evil and demonic. There's a lot of them that go out their way to help many communities spread the word and tell what's going on. And then you got the ones who are prejudiced, who still follow the same old stereotype. And then you got the confused ones. And those are the ones who probably just say, oh, if it's on television, it must be right. But then when they read it on a book, they like, well, that must be right. And then they get confused because they don't know which one to believe. You see what I'm saying? Or they say, well, it's none of my problems, none of my business, I'm going to stay out of it. So, like I said before, there's 3 sets of different white people, but my heart just grew heavy to think about the Native American people. And if any Native American person watched this, or people, I just want to thank you to let us live off your land. I just want to thank you to share your culture to the rest of the world so we can understand who you are and what are y'all about. Because truth be told, Native Americans could have killed all of us. They really could. They could have kept fighting and fighting, but because disease and phantom and the prejudiced white men had beyond technology of guns at that time, the Native Americans, they had no match. And due to the fact, you know, when I look at history, what the prejudiced white people did, it's just demonic. It's very demonic. It's very cruel. It's disturbing. And I just want to send my prayers to the Native American people, to the nation. And I just want to thank y'all to let us live on this land. Now, most people get confused because they're like, wait a minute, Jasmine. Your black people were forced to live on this land. Your ancestors were on a slave ship and they came to this land. You're right. But they could have killed us too. But like I said, my friend told me, she said the Native Americans were very close to the black people because they saw how they were getting mistreated. And that's why we're very close to one another. You know, true. But ever hear a white person say, thank you, Native Americans, to show us the way, or thank you to let us live your land? And you never hear not one that say thank you to the Native Americans. You not hear not one. Not one. And sadly, the Native Americans could have killed white people right off the bat, but I guess they were just interesting to these people. I guess at first, the prejudiced white people end up being nice, and then for some strange reason they just went demonic real quick and then start killing Native Americans really fast. It's very sad and it's very disturbing, but my heart just felt heavy, and I just want to give my prayers and also thanks to the Native American people all over this land, that they share their culture, that they also tell us about their past and future and present now. I think we should pay attention to everybody, including Africa people. I pay attention to Africa too, what's going on in Africa, So I'm just praying for these people. It's just something in my heart that I just want to say.